Hi there, we're here at the hot seat with Damon Martínez. He's running for Congress, the 1st District of New Mexico, is that correct?
Yes, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Today we're going to be eating some hot sauces and talking a little bit about where you're coming from and what you're trying to do here.
And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Okay, first of all, do you like spicy food?
I do.
You do?
You know, I'm born and raised here in New Mexico, so
Love
it's part of my DNA.
So is it red or green?
Red.
Red? Cool.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. It's hard to, there's not a right answer, I guess, or they're both right, right?
Well, I'm not sure there is a right answer, but you know,
Yeah.
I've been red.
Well, let's try one out, and then we'll get into some questions. What do you say? Why don't we start with something we kind of know? Medium body. I'd say it's like a mid 2017.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. So tell us a little about yourself beyond the normal biography of a politician. Like, what kind of music do you like? Do you have a song that like pumps you up, gets you ready for something like this?
Well, for something like this, I'm not sure if I need to be pumped up for it, but I'm a Billy Joel fan, Elton John fan.
Cool.
So how about this one right now, Philadelphia Freedom?
That's cool. That's cool. Sounds good. Do you ever sing karaoke?
I don't want to torture people. No.
So not even after a couple beers, huh? Bowling alley. It can be fun. I'm just kidding. Do you have a spirit animal?
I would say probably a black bear.
Black bear? So like, what about that animal do you relate to?
In my past job as U.S. Attorney, I worked with the tribes, and I came to know how the bear was for strength and for courage. And I think that when you look at the symbol of the bear, that's what is important. So
That's cool. That's a good answer. Mine's a running greyhound, so it's not quite as cool, but I like the bear. Do you have any tattoos?
I do not, but am I about to be tattooed?
Well, that's what we're wondering. We're trying to figure out what you're going to get. Are you going to get the eagle? Are you going to get the rose? What are we doing?
Well, I guess we'll find out here about 7 more tastings.
Yeah, let's try another one.
Alrighty.
You want to pick it? We'll just go.
Or you know what?
I'll let you pick.
Let's go to the hottest.
Let's do it. Jumping in.
How are we
first.
doing?
Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
Yeah. A little hot.
It is.
Taste the smokiness of the habanero.
Yeah, you can feel it.
It's got a little more presence than the Cholula.
And it says extreme heat. Oh boy. Okay, that hit.
It's tasting pretty good. I'm gonna
Right
give it
there.
a little dip. You know, pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, let's try
Has an afterbite.
It does. It actually slowly creeps.
Yeah.
All right, so I read your bio and it said your family's been here for like 10 generations.
Yes.
Okay, so as a native New Mexican who runs that deep, what's like one of the things, like when you're out and about, what do you brag about New Mexico? What is the thing you're like, oh, you've never been there? Check this out. What would be one of your things? Yep.
One of the things that we have that no other state really has is pueblos.
Yeah.
And this is something that's important to us. It's our history, how we've developed culturally.
I couldn't agree more. I'm actually multi-generational New Mexican as well. Thinking about like the first generation of your family that started here,
Yes.
what kind of legacy would you want to leave behind, or what would you like to do for the state to honor that legacy and ensure that maybe 10 generations from now they have the same opportunities or even better ones than we do now?
My father worked for Congressman Dennis Chavez way back when.
Cool.
And he was a poor guy off of a ranch. And so Chavez gave my dad a opportunity and said, look, I will bring you to D.C. and I'll give you a job if you go to school.
Okay.
And so my dad was with a group of poor New Mexicans who went out there, got educated, came back, and were able to, have some success. I want to do the same thing. I want to get out there. I want to offer opportunity to New Mexicans to come out, work out there, learn, become experts in policy, and either come back or stay out there, but represent New Mexico.
A little hot, a little spicy. Let's do one.
Are my eyes watering up yet?
Let's get a little water.
Again? All right.
Okay.
As a U.S. Attorney, I drastically cut back on the immigration cases. The
It's the chips. The chips are. It's not the
Yeah,
chips.
it's the chips are too salty.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I drastically cut back on the immigration prosecutions. I cut back on the prosecutions of those individuals who are coming here just to get a job or make a better way of life. And I put those prosecutors prosecuting the cases that we should try to prosecute, which were the cartel members. With that said, this administration is now they have now gone back to prosecuting everybody. They've changed what I did.
Well, I think that's probably you lost your job as soon as this administration came.
You mean
in.
when I was fired by President Trump?
Yeah, exactly.
I was one of the 46.
Yeah.
So where I'm at now is, let me take, for example, the Dreamers. You have individuals who don't know anything but this country, and I've been very strong on social media. Holy moly.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah, that is. So with the Dreamers, let me try to tie this in real quick. When I became U.S. Attorney, I changed our border strategy from immigration and drugs to immigration, drugs, and national security. We have limited resources, and I said we need to focus on our national security. What this administration is doing is they're now saying that, the Dreamers, we need to deport these people. Yeah. We need to basically go after the people who are trying to get an education, people who are in the military. We're going to send limited resources to find them and deport them.
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's not who we are as far as a country. That's not what our values are.
I agree.
And that's everything I stand against.
So that was you as a prosecutor. Now you as the congressman, you'd have to deal with other Let's just hypothetically say you win, but the House, it's still controlled by the Republicans, right?
You don't have to be hypothetical.
Okay.
All right.
No, I mean not that you win, but that the House is still controlled by the Republicans. So the power you have is somewhat limited. So you're now negotiating a deal with these guys and with Trump on, say, DACA people trying to save their status. What do you like? What would Trump need to give you to get his wall?
He couldn't give me anything.
He couldn't give you anything?
No.
Absolutely nothing?
No. I know that wall is political pandering. That's all it is. He's going to spend billions and billions of dollars on something that is wrong from the beginning.
So if he offers up the DACA guys and says, hey, they can all stay, everything's all good, we'll pull back on ICE, I want my wall.
That's a false choice. That is a false choice.
Okay.
You can offer a bill separate for DACA for the Dreamers.
Okay.
This wall issue is
the only reason I ask is I've seen it's been tied together,
right,
the tax thing, and lately they've been trying to tack it on to whatever.
Well, that's his gamesmanship. And what you need is you need someone to be able to stand up to this and say, look, this is wrong, and let me tell you why that's wrong. And that's why I'm in a unique situation. The wall, we already have segments of wall down there on the border.
Yeah, I've seen some.
And I know the types of security that we have on the border. Boy, there's an after effect. I know the types of security we have on the border. And a structure alone isn't what we have on the border. I can talk in detail about this, but here's another point that I want to make. Okay. And again, I'm not trying to sound too political here.
Let's hear it.
Prior to being U.S. Attorney, okay, I need to take a drink of water.
All right, go for it. Yeah, I had a couple.
All right, thanks. Prior to being U.S. Attorney, I supervised the organized crime section, which means that we prosecuted the cartels. I'm not afraid to make a hard decision, and I'm not afraid to make people mad, and that's the type of person we need in Congress.
What role does civil disobedience play in bringing attention to the unjust policies that Trump, his administration might be doing, if any? If we're all politically gridlocked, they're doing all these marches, what do you see as being an effective thing? Whoa, real tears.
All right. First, let me say, if we take back the House, oh man.
Yeah, this one's not nice. I'm gonna remember that guy next time.
Well, we've gotten the worst over with. So we have that to look forward to. All right. So when I worked for Tom Udall as his legislative, I think it hurts if you talk more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exhale.
It brings air to it.
Yeah.
So
I guess what I'm getting at is
so when I was Tom Udall's legislative director, I'll try to give you a chance to talk. All right.
No,
don't breathe. Don't breathe. It hurts it. Tom was a freshman member in the minority party, and that's the last place you want to be. So I learned some tricks then. Now, getting to the issue of civil disobedience. One of the things that we saw after this election was
So like nuns, priests, doctors sitting in.
you saw the Women's March in D.C. and across the nation. That made a difference, and that's who we are as a nation, that we have a First Amendment right, and we can stand up for what we believe. And
So
we can go forward. You tell me when you're ready to talk.
okay, so you're saying keep marching, keep organizing.
Absolutely. And bring attention to, one of the things that happened, you okay?
Yeah, oh, good.
All right.
Loving this.
I don't know mouth to mouth. If it,
I'm good.
all right.
I still feel my fingers, so we're good. No.
One of the things I think happened with this last election was people took things for granted. And things have been happening for 8 years.
Like the silver lining, basically.
And now people woke, when we're losing our regulations under EPA, when the State Department isn't being funded, when institutions that we hold dear.
We're missing diplomats all over the world, right?
Oh my gosh, we don't even have ambassadors in place.
So then, if we then take to the streets like we're doing, what role would you find the press playing in this? Because the one thing that the press has is like that double-edged sword where as much as they reported on Trump's misgivings, he somehow found a way, that's his one strength, to use it as, free press. Arguably, you can say that was one of the things that got him elected. All that negative press he received gave him, familiarity of some sort,
Well, and that's why it's important now. When I'm saying the institutions that we hold dear, that uphold our democracy, are being undermined, the press is one of them. This is what's been keeping our democracy going now since the beginning of this country. So
Finally starting to chill out over here on this one.
What's important here is substance. Right now, what's going on with this president is he's now diminishing the office of the presidency. When the president said something previously, people wanted to believe in it. And now we're seeing that you can't do that. So people are beginning to question everything.
Yeah.
We need to have people who are responsible, who are able to say, look, the reason we have EPA regulations is because of this past history. The reason we have unions is because of this past history. Someone who can articulate this and educate, and that's crucial.
Coach, we're gonna touch on gun control.
Yeah.
Okay, it's obviously a hot issue.
No.
Oh, hey, pun intended, but it really wasn't. It should have been.
Yeah.
Dang, there, let's do this now.
I shouldn't have reminded you.
See, let's try. Let's go over here to Her Queen Majesty. Maybe she's not so bad. The Scotch bonnet and ginger. You want to try this one?
Well, if we get this one over with,
Let's do it. I think this is gonna be the hottest because.
What's the warning label on this one? Uh-oh.
See, it's this part, the 357,000 Scoville units. That is when I was like, crap, but I already had it in my mouth. Here we go.
Here we go.
Cheers. Not so bad.
I'm numb.
Yeah, that's all good. Okay, so what is the most restrictive form of gun control you would support? Right up the middle.
All right. Again, this is where my record comes in. When I went to work for Senator Jeff Bingaman, I worked on his bill to prohibit assault weapons. So I have that history, and I saw how the gun industry tried to circumvent Senator Feinstein's bill that became law. I know how to avoid that stuff. So there's going to be a couple things that we're going to do.
Okay.
First thing is we're going to prohibit the assault weapons. Second thing is the CDC, which takes account, we have to look at this as a public health crisis. And so we're going to make sure that they are able to keep account of the statistics so that we as a nation can become informed. Not study, but keep track of the statistics nationwide.
Because they've been prohibited, right?
Well, yeah, right now they can't do that.
Yeah.
Also, what we're going to do is with gun manufacturers, you cannot hold them liable right now. We're going to strip them of that coverage so that they can start making smarter weapons. There's also other issues, which we're going to increase the age to 21.
Okay.
Also, we're going to deal with issues such as they're trying to work with the regulations to allow people to use silencers, which would be absolutely crazy. There's a concealed gun. They're trying to create reciprocity across the states concerning concealed weapons. I would fight that tooth and nail. There's also a magazine issue.
Yep.
We're going to deal with a magazine issue.
See, one idea that I've heard floating around, like in, let's say, at the bar having a beer over this kind of issue for somebody who's not quite subscribed to either side of the issue, who is looking for common sense middle path, is what if you treated gun ownership like a car where you have to have a license to own and operate? It has to be renewed. If you want a bigger gun, you need a bigger license like a CDL, for a big rig. That doesn't seem to make either side happy, but that would be the sign of a true negotiation, right?
Sure. Well, I'm going past that.
Okay.
I'm saying prohibit the weapons. So, and here's the trigger for, here's the change for me is, so right now, I didn't mean that, but you have semi-assault weapons, which are the AR-15s, but with the buttstocks, I'm sorry, I forgot that, prohibit the buttstocks. But now that we have buttstocks out there in the community, that makes our semi-assault weapons assault weapons. And all we have to do is look at Las Vegas to see the kind of damage that one person with weapons can do. So now that's the game changer. Now that we have those buttstocks out there to turn these semi-assault weapons into fully assault weapons, you need to prohibit all of these weapons.
If you aren't like that, I see what you're saying, and I feel like that's actually makes sense. But when you're talking about going back to Washington and they're curtailing any kind of thing, they're so afraid of getting their guns taken away. How do you approach it where you're like, we're not going to take them, but at the same time, we don't want these weapons on the street?
Well, what I'm talking about still respects the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is there.
Well, it should be a living thing. It should be adjusted anyway to today's firearms, right? I mean, it was written when nobody could do a Las Vegas type shooting.
Well, you have the case law out there from the Supreme Court, so it establishes that right. And, understand that that's the rule of law, you respect it. What I'm proposing does not violate that respect for the Second Amendment, and we can get there. And that's why I'm confident that as long as, again, going back to educating, as long as staying with the facts, staying with the substance, if you, right now, we have the feeling of the country behind us on this movement. People want their children safe when they go to school. People want to be able to go to a church. People want to be able to go to a public event and be safe. And right now, you can't be.
It's true. And they don't seem to really want to pour more gas on the fire that's being proposed by Trump.
And this is where I'm confident that the merits will carry the day.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, anyway, I think we're out of time. So this was fun. I had a couple more questions, but I think we left.
Let's
do it. Let's double.
I was going to say, why'd we start at that?
I don't know. I thought we were going to get through here. You want to do the Tuesday? Yeah, we'll do the Tuesday.
All right.
This one's really good.
Yeah, it is.
This was hell on earth, or in my mouth.
You can take that one with you.
Yeah. Well, it was nice talking with you. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me do this. Thank you.
Have a good one. Okay. This has been another Hot Seat production brought to you by the Digital Arts and Technology Academy, hosted at Sister Bar.